Hello, in this video we are going to talk about OSC input and output. And just before I start this video, I want to say a big thanks for Maverick, which enables and teaches us on how to use Lua sockets and Reascripts. Actually, using to send and receive OSC, you need Lua sockets, and we don't have this in Reaper default, but Maverick found a way to use this. And for this, to learn about this, go to my repository, Daniel Lumert's script, and look for Lua sockets and download this folder, Lua sockets. You can download it via Reapack too. So go Reapack, browse packages. So I didn't synchronize it. I will need to wait. And look for Lua Sockets Demo, Lua Sockets Demo, install it, and look at the folder, okay? Okay, so I already have it here. I'll open it on VS Code. And what I'm gonna do in this video is just show how I use this at least, and I will try to connect with Max MSP to send and receive OSC. So OSC is basically UDP messages and with some certain format, but on the Lua Sockets demo you can see it has socket module folder with the modules that you can use with Lua sockets, which are well, for example, HTTP and MIME, but what we are going to use is OSC. And okay, so let's go to the first example to send sockets. Let's start with sending. Okay, so the first part of your code will just basically to load this Lua sockets module. So this is to get which OS you are using. So in my case it will be Windows. And if you don't know the Lua socket module, how it works is the your script will need to run to read the binary files with the Lua socket module. For example, this core DLL, and if you are using macOS, your code will need to read the core SO, and if you are using Linux, your you probably will need to rename this to core SO and remove the macOS, or put this as macOS like this. And I will probably in the future look on a better way to have these two working at the same time. But for now, I think Linux will need to rename this to be the default core SO. But anyway, for Windows, the script will need to read this core DLL, and macOS read this core SO. So all of these scripts to send sockets demo will start with this part, getting the OS, and then getting which binary file it needs to read, if it's a DLL or SO, and it will read it, adding it to the package, and then requiring it here. Okay, so it's requiring sockets.core, and after it is also starting the OSC module. Here is just a print function, and here is just the mob debug. We don't really need this line. It's just for debugging that I forget there. So socket module, so here is starting the sockets, and here is starting the OSC and returning at these two tables, sockets and OSC. So really simple. First thing, define the host and the port that you want to send, so localhost, and this will return the IP. We'll convert host here to the IP, and the port I am sending, actually I will send to 9005. Here I am receiving on 9005, and here creating the UDP object. Okay, so this is the first things that you need, and here is the message, how you send the message. So the message, the IP and the port. So the IP that we converted from localhost 9005 is the port, and the message we need to encode to the OSC format. If you want to learn more about the OSC format, I really recommend this website from Stanford University. And here it talks about how it should be encoded and decoded. Okay, and I made this OSC encode and decode function on the OSC module, and where you can read about it. And if you find anything that should be different, please contact me or push a pull request. Push a pull request. Send a pull request. Okay, so here you have many functions to deal with OSC messages. Okay, so let's get back here. So it's basically encoding. The first message is track. Here is the address of the OSC. So track 1 fx parameter with slashes, and it is sending with, at this address, it is sending 3 values. So 6, the number of the beast, which is an integer, a float 3.14, and a string hello world. And it's also sending message to with this address, project 0, number of tracks, and counting the number of tracks. Okay, so let me just add some tracks. So I will add 6 tracks, and here I will send just message 1 for now. Let me save this, and as you can see, it is receiving here at max MSP. Whoop. So it's all right. Now let me try to send just the second message. So if I save the, so if I send this, it receives with the address and the count of the tracks. So this is basically how you send OSC message. Really simple. You encode the thing that you need, and then you send to at the UDP object. Okay, so really simple. Let's see now how to receive messages. Okay, so let's go to the example receive socket demo, and you can see it starts the same way, getting information about your operating system, if it was Windows, Linux, or Mac OS, putting it on the package. Sorry, putting the socket module folder on the package, defining the print function, and then starting with the socket module and the OSC module, and after it gets a UDP object here, and then put the port that it is reading, so 9004, and here the IP, and setting the timeout. It's really important to set a low timeout, because if you put a big timeout, you will freeze Reaper until it receives some message. And as we are going to do this in a defer loop, I set a really low timeout for it. Okay, so here we define the UDP object. Here's the main function that we are going to go in a loop. Here is just running the function. So let's go here on the function read. So you see there is a if and many conditions here. So this is just the method that it is using to get the OSC. Let's see the first one. So here is using, here on the OSC module, there are multiple receive OSC functions. So and numReceive is an iteration function where you iterate every message that is getting. The OSC receive will return everything in a table that is on your buffer on that port. And over here you have more 3 functions to receive, but it's not OSC, is just UDP. The basically difference is that these OSC functions have the OSC decode function that I wrote. Here you can read about this, but it's just getting the UDP message and decoding using the OSC format. Okay, but let's go to this function. So basically in the numReceive, which is an iteration function, is returning a function because it's an iteration function, and getting the message, and if not UDP message, it will break the iteration. And if there is a message, it will decode the message and return the address and the values. The values will be on a table. And the difference is the OSC receive will will actually use the numReceive. Okay, so let's see this function being used. So let's go to the where is it? Oh, I got lost a little on many things open at the same time. Okay, here receive method, receive sockets demo, method 1. So you put 4 address and values in OSC and numReceive UDP, and then you print the address, and it will print how many values this message have, and for each value it will print the value. Okay, so let's try to send this. Here is receiving on part 9004, so sending to 9004, and I will send this address. So project slider 2, this is the address, and I'm sending 1, 2, 3 values. So the value 50, the value 3.14, which is a float, and the string not your mom, not your milk. Okay, so first thing I run this code, and as you can see it's running now on the background. And now if I try to send this OSC, it is printing address and the address and saying this message have 3 values, just like here. This message have 3 values, and the values 50, 3.14, and some rounded number, non-rounded number, which you need to erase probably, and not your mom, not your milk. Okay, so everything seems all right, and let's just see how it worked the other methods. So OSC receive will get a table with everything, then this return a table T, and you go through the table T and print everything from it. Same thing. Let's see method 3. Okay, so method 3, 4, and 5 are just using the UDP message functions. So they don't convert the OSC messages themselves. So here on method, let me put bigger screen. Method 1, we don't want to see anymore. Method 2, no. Method 3 is also an iteration function. So for message in the UDP message. So this is just how you receive UDP message if you are not actually sending OSC. But as I am sending OSC, I am decoding. So get the message, decode it, and get the address and the values. And then print the address. This message have so many values, and etc. So basically the same thing as the others. The fourth is UDP receive. So this is just getting everything in a table and then going through everything inside this table. So this view value is the message, UDP message, and is decoding the UDP message to OSC, so address and values and printing, same thing. And the fifth method is just to receive the newest UDP. So imagine that your buffer between your defer loops, you got, I don't know, 5 messages. It will just read the first message, and the other ones it will ignore, and it will clean your buffer, so you are just getting the newest message. Okay, so here it returns the message. So if message, it will decode the message to OSC and print the address and values. Okay, and here a really important thing that I need to mention, these num receive functions. All of these functions are start at the oldest message and go to the newest. Okay, so they start at the oldest and go to the newest. So the first time you go here on the method 1, in the first loop, it will print the oldest message you have, then the second oldest, etc, etc. And okay, this was a really small video about OSC. There is much more that we need to explore with Lua sockets. I think having OSC is already a great thing for us. You can see the other modules that came with Lua sockets from Maverick. I already talked a little about the mob debug on my VS Code video. Here my demo scripts is also a test with Lua sockets function. With this script trying to parse the Reaper site. And it would be really great if we had also Lua sec module, because then we could actually read HTTPS pages. But okay, this is the video about OSC. Bye.